But I'm a cleanliness freak, and barefoot is completely against that. No one to promote barefoot running. It's people like us. No one benefits by barefoot running. All sports brands are all the big shoes manufacturers. So running the event in Boston was extremely challenging. Running it barefoot was very, very challenging.
That's Bobby Phillip, and I'm your host, Santosh Shiva. Welcome to another episode of RunYogi Diaries. A quick message before we get started. Please try and stop using single-use plastic. It's destroying our oceans and re-entering our food chain. Thank you so much. Also, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It helps the cause. Back to Bobby, we get to talk about the pleasure of running without too much on the body, starting from shoes to shirts. Why has barefoot running remained in the fringe? And we get to talk about his extraordinary journey qualifying and running the Boston Marathon barefoot. Let's dig in. Hey Bobby, welcome to RunYogi Diaries.
Thank you so much. A pleasure to be with you, and nice to get an opportunity to talk to you. So my pleasure.
That's great. It's a very special conversation because I'm a Bangalorean and I'm speaking first time to a Bangalorean runner. So it's even more special.
Yeah, would love to hear more about your Bangalore stories later.
All right. So Bobby, maybe before we get started, maybe a quick introduction from your side. So let's start with that.
Sure. So a couple of aspects. So professionally, I work with Nokia at a family friend. I have my wife and my daughter. We are together over here. Yeah, with respect to running, now lots to talk with respect to running. So I've been running since almost, I would say, 11 years. I've completed 11 years of running. And before the 11 years, I was never into sports. Yeah. So, as a kid, we would play cricket. A typical Indian, every Indian would play cricket as kids. So that's what I was. But health point of view, I used to smoke, I used to drink. So I've never been into sports. So all of a sudden, it's just that, one day, just something happened. And since that moment, it's everything, a lot in my life has changed. So started running. Then we had a Nike Run Club over here, part of the Nike Run Club, and the world changed since then. So I can talk a lot about that. Yeah. So I started running was with the Nike Run Club. I got introduced to them, and that was a world by itself. The best runners of the city of Bangalore were associated with the Nike Run Club. So the coach also was a certified coach, have been training the professional athletes. So got trained in the best possible method. So when I say best possible method, what it means is it's running. People normally think it's all about running. You go out and run and then, you become an athlete. So it's never that way. So running, I always say, is just 40 to 50% of the entire package. So there are many other aspects. One of them is fitness and flexibility. So as part of the Nike Run Club, we were rigorously trained on the fitness parts, fitness as well as on the flexibility, mobility, all of these areas. So we're trained by a very good coach. So the best thing was, makes you injury free. So that was the biggest advantage. So
I noticed that you said you were smoking and drinking for a whole lot of your life. Looks like you partied for a lot of your life and then decided to get healthy.
It's been lots. Lot of your life, you have no idea, how lot this is. So it has been crazy level of partying and, all the negative aspects on the health part. That's where I have been. So that's why my friends always cannot believe the kind of transformation I have gone through.
So let's talk about that, right? So what happened? It's a big change. So was it,
Yeah.
what gave you the wake up call?
Okay, yeah. So, again, going back. So, what happened is in the year 2009 is when I joined Nokia. And just before joining Nokia, we had to do a health checkup. So, when I did a regular health checkup, doctor casually just mentioned that your cholesterol levels are slightly high, little bit of fat around the liver. So, he just casually mentioned it. Not an alarm or anything, but he did mention. So, he said, you need to lead a more active lifestyle. So, I casually just listened to it, did not do anything. And then my daughter actually had a sports event just a month down the line. She had a sports event in her school. So I told her, you just cannot go and all of a sudden one day just run 100-meter dash. So let's train at least a week before that. So both of us, used to just go out of the house, 100 meters, 200 meters, a couple of circles we used to do, just so that she understands what is running and her body is accepted. So we did that for around a week. Her sports event was over. She stopped and I continued. So
That's amazing. So tell me
yeah.
some. I had a less serious question, but this is something that I wanted to ask anyway. What's it with the bare chested running? You're also you're giving
Okay.
Salman Khan a run for his money, man.
Yeah, see, so I'm more of a minimalistic. Yeah, so more of a minimalistic, and yeah, it was it. Yeah, I think in the year 2014, again, running did not make me super fit, right? I still had a tummy. Even though I was running for almost 5 years, I still had a tummy. And it just came into my mind that the next full marathon event that I do, I should do it bare chested. So that was the sort of a I would say a vision sort of a thing I had. That so I had a span of around 6 to 7 months, and I did not want to run with that tummy. Yeah, that was for sure. So I just consulted my physio. I asked him, and he said your core is really very weak. You really need to strengthen up your core. And yeah, so that's where I actually started off, with aspect to the core as well as with my tummy, get myself fit. Started off with small steps, and luckily by around 6 7 months I could reasonably get my tummy in. So and then once you enjoy that freedom, people ask me, why do you run without shoes, without t-shirt? T-shirt, I strongly believe, has got no value. It just hides your inhibitions. That's all. T-shirt is just to hide yourself. If you don't have anything to hide, you can always be bare chest. Be proud. For me, since I don't have, I'm known over here, to be bare chested. So
That's
yeah,
amazing. That's amazing. That could be a goal also for runners, saying whenever that
absolutely. Yeah, it
get
is.
your six pack.
Yeah, I keep telling that, I improved my fitness is with that, ambition of going bare chested. And yeah, that motivated me to get myself into a much better physique.
My first reaction was probably it's because you have Mallu roots, right? it could be. It could be that.
Uh,
So coming back to your running journey, let's get back to you just started talking about barefoot, and so let's get back to that. So about 2 years you ran before you decided to switch to barefoot, right?
mm, 3 years.
3 years.
So 2009, 10, 11. So 12 is when I transitioned to barefoot. Yeah.
So what was happening? Tell us the moment when you're sitting in a what? You're sitting in a sofa.
Yeah.
Suddenly a
Yeah.
brainwave
It
went
was.
off. Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, it was literally like that. So it was nothing was planned. So for some reason, for 2 3 days I was not running. So I just thought, okay, in Sunday evening, I'm just sitting home comfortably, and it just comes into my mind all of a sudden with no background that let me just go out of the house barefoot. Let me just try a barefoot walk. Now, barefoot is literally a crime. Yeah, why would you ever go out of your house barefoot? It is. I mean, stepping out of your house barefoot is like you're stepping on, every possible junk, is the kind of feeling that you carry in your mind. So, but so I never told anyone home that I'm going out barefoot. I just said I'm just going out for a short walk, jog.
So what was the trigger? What made you
I
want to
mean,
do that?
yeah, I mean, it was, I've seen people, I've seen, not seen, I have heard. And plus I knew a runner who was from some other state. So he used to run barefoot. And then I knew another one lady, she also used to run barefoot. So, I just thought, let me try it out and see, because see, again, for me, barefoot, the in my mind, what was running is when I used to see them running barefoot, it was like, it is not in our culture. It goes against our culture to be barefoot, right? I mean, our culture is you need to be dignified. You need to be, in proper shoes. That's the culture. I mean, going barefoot is not at all good. Was the kind of impression that I had. But for some reason, I just thought, let me try it out. So I still remember. I can never forget that the first time ever in my I walked out of the house barefoot. The first step I'm putting on the street, the very first step, literally it's like the soul, it's a completely a new sensation the sole of my feet is having. In the first step itself, you're literally looking around, what am I stepping on? I put my feet, it is fine. Second feet forward, it's fine. Third, fourth, I just move it, and then it's a very new sensation that we get at the sole of our feet. Very new sensation. You would have never got it because you're stepping on the small minor pebbles, and it literally gives you a small ticklish sort of a feeling on the sole of your feet. So I was fine with it. So I continued my walk. I walked around 50 meters. And then I could see few people here and there. I was looking at them. What would they be thinking of me? Why am I going out barefoot? It was really odd. But it looked reasonably fine. I continued. 250 meters. Then I have to take a U-turn, come back. I came back, so I did 500 meters. It all looked fine. I did one more round. So 1 kilometer I did. I was literally looking at every step and looking around. What would people think of me? I survived that 1 kilometer. I thought then, okay, let me do 1 kilometer, bit of jog. Again, so it was also fine. I mean, I survived that 1 kilometer, and overall experience was reasonably good, I would say. I mean, nothing went wrong. Not reasonably good. Nothing went wrong in that 1 kilometer. I was back home, and I washed my feet. I probably would have had a bath, and I was okay. I liked that experience.
So
And
this
then
was
the
in
next,
Bombay? Was this in Bombay?
no, in Bangalore, in Bangalore.
Bangalore. And are you
Yeah.
are you a person who is always someone who's an adventurer who pushes boundaries? Is this your nature or
Yeah,
what?
I mean, yeah, I would. I mean, professionally, never in sports. In professionally, yes. I mean, I have always been a successful person. So I have, I mean, I'm always out of the comfort zone. Yeah, always. Professionally, I've always been out of the comfort zone. But, I'm a cleanliness freak. Cleanliness freak. And barefoot is completely against that.
Against that,
Because, yeah, because you're stepping on dirt, right? I mean, a cleanliness person can never go out of the house barefoot.
yeah.
So it is complete. But yeah, but then yeah, okay. So first day was fine. Next day I did my normal run, which was okay. So the third day, I again thought, let me do it once again. Yeah, so let me try it out. So I went barefoot to my running track, the place where I normally run. I did a 5 kilometer, easy jog. I survived 5 kilometers. It was pretty good feeling that I had. And by the end of, when I finished 5 kilometers, it was overall, I had no problems, and the feeling was good. I could have done another 2 more kilometers, but I just stopped. The next day after that, when I ran with my shoes, that's where the actual impact I felt. So when I ran with shoes, I could actually feel that I'm carrying the weight of my shoes on my feet. I actually felt it. So I'm feeling a bit unusual. The next time when I was running, when I'm doing my normal, I thought might be it is just a one-off feel. After that, again did a barefoot. And next day when I ran with shoes, I could actually feel that I'm carrying a weight on my feet, and I was absolutely not comfortable with it. So that was, I mean, it was not a good sign, because I knew now I am, somewhere not enjoying the feel of shoes, as well as I cannot be always barefoot, because I was quite intense in my workout. So I knew that I cannot be follow that intensity barefoot. So so I was somewhere stuck in between. There wasn't anyone I could consult, because there were no barefooters. There was literally no barefooters. There was only one lady whom I mentioned that, so and there was one more chap. So yeah, I had to just talk to them. They said, yeah, it is normal. Then with few more days, then I started having those little, the barefoot transition pains. There's something called as top of the foot pain, TFP it is called as. I experienced that. Yeah, it was those 2 months was quite challenging. Somehow survived through it. I had a 10K race. I mean, yeah, when I did my first 10K race barefoot, I actually taped my full feet. So you get those special tapes, like a crepe bandage, but it sticks to your feet. Yeah, it's not something, so it little sticks, and it gives you sort of a cushioning. So I put a tape around my feet, and I went, because I did not want to risk of any stones or something, or nails or glass or something piercing me. So and that was a good experience overall. So yeah, that was how I started.
Terrific. So did you, and you've been doing this like almost for 8 years now, right? 2012 you
Yes, yeah,
started.
yeah.
So what has been your strategy to strengthen your feet? So you continue
I'm
to be injury free?
No, there's nothing called, I mean, strengthening the feet as such because of barefoot. I mean, see, initial 1 year, what the major impact is on your calf and your quads. That's where the major impact is. So, because your style of running changes a lot. So till now you're protected with the cushions, and you're normally with shoes there's a concept called a heel strike. So you tend to be a bit more heel strike, but you're always protected with the cushions, or with the sole. I mean, yeah, the sole of your shoes. Now when you have removed it, you lose that that cushioning. So, and then your form also is sort of a midfoot or a forefoot. So your calves tend to be overstrained. Your quads will be overstrained. So I had to do a lot of my calves and quads strengthening and stretching. So that was for the first 1 year. Then when the feet got used to it, then it was always the overall fitness. But calves is, I mean, even today, I take a bit extra care of my calves, because that continues to strain, to trouble me a bit if I, don't stretch it well, or don't do a proper foam rolling. My calves will be the first one which gets impacted.
Right. And I think, probably about 8 years ago, when that Born to Run book was released,
Yeah.
the minimalist running became a big, it was a big talk in the running circles. But then it kind of faded away. And then you had maximal shoes come back, like, the Hoka 1A. And
Yeah.
so what are your thoughts? Why do you think the barefoot running is still remained a fringe? It's not become a
Yeah.
mainstream as it was
Yeah.
expected.
It can never be, because there's no one to promote barefoot running. It's people like us, no one benefits by barefoot running. Everyone, I mean, commercially, for everyone, it's a big problem. No shoes will ever encourage that. And all sports brands are all the big shoes manufacturers. So if
Right.
there's no one to promote, so passionate people like us, what I do is, even when I remember, even not in yeah, in Houston, actually, I met few people, and we had a small run that we had organized. In fact, there was a big park. I don't remember the name of the park. There's a big park, and I ran bare-chested over there too. And there were others also who were running bare-chested. So this was in the month of April. There were a few others who were running bare-chested. So yeah. Since there's no one to commercially promote barefoot, this becomes a challenge. So passionate people like us, so I organize barefoot promotional runs in Bangalore, in Bombay, as well as in few other cities wherever I travel. So
Terrific.
that's how I promote. Yeah, then that's so it only comes with passion. And now
So in
there are
your
lots
view,
of
if go ahead.
there are quite a lot of barefooters, at least in India. There is, so you'll find over five. I think 5% of the runners would be barefoot. I think so.
So if you were to summarize maybe the top 3 reasons why someone should consider barefoot, even if it is not full time, but maybe part time, few days a week, what would you say?
See, first thing, God has made us barefoot. Yeah. So someone has literally brainwashed us. I mean, literally brainwashed us. All the big brands have brainwashed the mindset of the people that we are literally born with shoes. So it is like just not human to be barefoot. Actually, when I travel across the world, if my family is not with me, I'm always barefoot. Only when my family is with me, I need to be a bit dignified, and my wife will still not agree. Even today, if I step out of my house barefoot for a walk with her, she will not agree. She doesn't accept that. So whenever she is not there, I'm always barefoot. I've traveled internationally. Even when I came to Houston, also I was barefoot. In the airport, I was barefoot. People ask me, "How can you be? Were you born barefoot?" Literally, they ask me like that. So I am barefoot just to tell people that it is human to be barefoot. I mean, so that's what. So first of all, I mean, God has made us barefoot. Second one, putting in a shoes. I tell people it's equivalent to eating food with a gloves in your hand. You eat food with a gloves. How would you enjoy it? So that's what your shoes does to you. So the feet in the shoes is literally a dead element. It has got absolutely no life in it. The life is in the calves and in the quads. That feet is got absolutely no role playing in your walking, in your running. Because you have completely, the life of that feet has been taken away by protecting your soul. So that is where all your communication to the full body comes in, from the sole of your feet. If you have protected that, you have stopped that communication, which itself is bad. Yeah. So that's the second. Third thing is, your form of running completely changes. See, the shape of your feet is supposed to be spread like this. With the shoes, it is exactly the opposite. Instead of wide, it compresses it. And your heel is where it is got the maximum weight. That's why you always hit your heel first. It completely changes your form of running. So in every aspect, it is. I always say that I should be asking, why do people wear shoes when everything is wrong?
Yeah.
So
I completely hear you. I think I would definitely the third point that you make is a very critical point. I think for people who are running in shoes and who can at least run a couple of days or even one day barefoot or minimalistic, like with Vibrams, you're going to improve your form. You're going to make yourself a better runner, and then you can decide whether you want to scale it or whatever, right? So I think that's a great point, because we are also getting in. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, in fact, I would always say that after the run, free up your feet by removing off your shoes, and then do a recovery run of 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers barefoot. That also is a great experience.
That's a good tip.
Find out a good place. Find out a good place where you're happy to do barefoot. I mean, which is comfortable. It's neat and clean. Mentally, you are fine with it, and try it out. Give them some freedom. That's what I always keep saying.
Yeah. No, that's
I'm
great.
sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, that's a great message. So now coming back to, you scaled this. You just didn't continue running at a minimal level. You even qualified for Boston as a barefoot runner. Let's talk about that journey. How did you scale your pace and your performance as a barefoot runner to be able to qualify to Boston?
So the pace aspect is, being barefoot really helped me anyhow, but that is nothing to do specifically with barefoot. but that has made me a much better runner being barefoot. And yeah, I mean, I would say, I mean, Boston qualification is all about a disciplined training, a consistent training, a focused training. So I was always coached. I had a coach, and he also is a brilliant runner. So Coach Kotandapani, he is very popular across the country. So with him. With his guidance, been trained in a very disciplined approach in the proper scientific format with the proper training schedules. We were being trained, and in the event that we ran in 2014, both of us got qualified for Boston. So so both of us together decided that let's do Boston together. So that's how I got. But running the event in Boston was extremely challenging. Running it barefoot was very, very challenging. As you know, I mean, the year 2015, Boston, the weather was extremely cold. So when we started the run at around 11, just before 11, when we started, it was 5 degrees. I'm just not used to that 5 degrees. Unless I go to the north of India, I'm just not used. So I'd been to Canada. I've experienced minus 35, but I've never been a runner. So I've never run barefoot also in such cold weather. So it was extremely tough. So when I started the run, I was actually wearing 2 layers of socks because feet and palms and ears are what gets impacted the first in this cold weather. So I wore 2 socks, the gloves, and I had a monkey cap. Then and before we could start, it started raining, so we were all wet to make it more difficult. And so somehow survived. Traveled from India to run the event, so there's no way I can back out. So even though how much of a painful it was, I just had to do it. I still remember, my friend who was at home in the TV. He was watching us in the TV, the event in the TV, and there was a panel of discussion over there. One of them was a doctor, and they mentioned that there is a barefoot runner who's running, and that literally caught the attention. And they were saying that running in this cold weather, it could have frost bites and it could permanently disable your feet. So luckily, I mean, I was in a bad shape, but luckily managed to run it, pretty reasonably strong, finish it reasonably strong. When I crossed the finish line, it was 7 degrees. So even though it was 2:30, I mean, 11 to 2:30, when I finished, my full body was shivering. There was a journalist who wanted to, so one of my friend who was waiting for me at the finish line, he came across a journalist over there, and he told him that there's a barefoot runner who will just be reaching. You should talk to him. And so as soon as I crossed, he told the journalist he's come, and she started asking me questions. I could not even open my mouth, literally shivering I was. So I told you, ask him, he will tell you everything about me. And that's how I became popular. That lady took a photograph of mine. Oh my God, across the city, across years, so many places there were interviews of mine. I was flooded with lots of interviews to be given. So I mean, it was those 2 weeks after Boston made me crazy. Yeah.
That's awesome. So are you going to run the Boston again, or what's the plan?
I mean, see, I would love to run, because Boston is really special. For any runner, it is like an Olympics, so because you need to qualify. You cannot run Boston. You need to qualify. And to qualify, I know the way people work so hard just to qualify. So I would love to do it, but it's also equally expensive. I feel that with that same money, I can travel to so many other places, and I can do 10 times the number of events. So just with that in mind, I'm not that motivated, but Yeah, I would love to experience. Boston is always great. And I have had the best of experiences. After the run, you get the medal. You're so proud of that medal, the T-shirt, the jacket. Everything is such a one of my most valuable mementos are those Boston things. Boston T-shirt, the medal, and the jacket. I love wearing it. I mean, it's such a proud thing for you to wear. You walk around and people will just respect you just as a Boston runner. So yeah,
That's
it
amazing.
is wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. And one is to qualify for Boston, plus on top of it, or barefoot. That's the cherry on the cake, right? That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
terrific. So you've, other than Boston, of course, you've done many marathons. I was reading that you've done about 15 plus marathons. So what's next? What's next in your marathon journey?
So international ones I did is Boston and New York, and then I did in Thailand, in Bangkok, not in Bangkok, in Phuket. I did one where I got a podium finish. Uh, I mean, I would love to do international events, but I say that only if my family comes with me.
Yeah.
Then only I would do an international. I am not a big fan of just going alone, spend a lot of money just to run an event. So I'm not a big fan of that. If my family comes, then I'll be happy. So it's a family time. So that's one. But I mean, I would just love to experience travel as many places. So year 2020, I was supposed to travel a lot of places, but this pandemic has literally brought us down. So literally, last year I traveled a lot, quite a lot of cities I traveled. That's where last year is when I did the Phuket International Marathon. Yeah, so this year also had some plans. I had to cancel, but I would continue with the journey of only up to the full marathon. So I don't want to enter into the field of ultra running. So I like the 10Ks and the halves. 2 to 3 full marathons in a year, should be good. So yeah,
you probably must be one among the faster barefoot runners, right? You are a sub 3 marathoner.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, see, we don't. Compare as barefoot runners. So I mean, yeah, I would say in my category, irrespective of whether you are with shoes or barefoot, I am among the. And I always have been a podium finisher at a national event. So
yeah, because we are also moving into an era of carbon plated shoes.
Yeah. Right? Oh my God. That is a big subject by itself. People have gone crazy with the shoes.
Yeah.
Nike, oh my God. It's a big revolution they have started off with, and now literally everyone else is joining the same. Yeah, it's a big discussion happening in this running world now.
So that's why I was more keen on, calling out that there may be very few barefoot runners globally. I don't know. I haven't checked, I haven't done the research on it, who are doing sub 3, which is special because you're doing it unaided, which is a very different. So yeah, I mean, I think it's worth calling it out and seeing, creating a different category. Awesome. I think we covered quite a bit on your running journey. Probably coming to an end of our conversation. What is there any specific message you want to give to the audience as a wrap up message?
Yeah, I mean, so one thing I always tell, a lot of people runners say that I run to get fit. I say it should be the other way around. You need to be fit to run. Now, so that being fit to run leads you to have a much longer, successful running career ahead. If you're fit, your entire body would always support you in getting stronger. Being injury free, the most important aspect, because that's what always restricts people from attempting to go stronger. So keep yourself fit, follow a nice disciplined program. You just cannot one day go ahead and decide that today I will do something which is against the guidelines. So lots of runners do get injured because of all of this, and then they either stop, or they are so terribly injured they're demotivated to attempt to do. So follow a structured plan. The entire running comes in a package, as I mentioned in the beginning. 40% to 50% is about running. There's still an entire big thing to be taken care of, like your fitness, your nutrition, your recovery. Recovery is really very important because that's again not been focused on. So take care of all of this, and I think it should all be good.
Awesome. We wish that you continue this barefoot journey. I personally, I don't run barefoot, but I do run with my Vibrams every now and then, and I do love that feeling for sure. I'm going to start trying to run barefoot after talking to you. And barefoot running in America is possible. We have a lot of opportunities to do it. So, I don't see why we should not try it more often for the benefits of creating better form, a much healthier running form. So we wish you continue pursuing this and continue activism around this area. And we'll keep watching your next journey. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for hosting me. It's really been my pleasure, and looking forward to continue this discussion with you. I'll always be happy to and you can be also support us in this forum of spreading this word of barefoot. So really appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a great evening. Goodbye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.